Hi fellow reefers, I'm Eddie of Eddie's Reef Aquaria. Today's video, if you follow me, you'll notice last week's video was about the introduction of the 3 recent corals that I got from Worldwide Corals. So if you follow me, you'll know the routine that I go ahead and then afterwards I'll start to talk about each individual coral, the care requirements and what it takes for you to keep one in your own reef tank. So today I decided to go like from the top down. So today we're going to talk about the Montipora Purple Cap, which is on the top, and believe me, it's grown a lot. And then probably next week we'll talk about the Phovitis and then the pipe organ coral as the last of the 3 that I introduced previously. So let's go ahead and take a deep dive. Okay, so here we are in front of the coral, focused directly to the Purple Montipora Capricornis. And first of all, I'm going to talk about the description. The Purple Montipora Capricornis is, of course, a SPS coral, meaning small polyp stony coral, that forms large spiraling leafy plates. This variety is deep purple in color with purplish blue polyps, also called a vase, V-A-S-E, coral by some. Montipora corals come in many colors and grow into the most beautiful shapes. Aquacultured Montipora capricornis are one of the easiest SPS corals to grow and maintain. They grow fairly quick in an established reef aquarium. Now, when it comes to the aggressiveness, this coral is considered peaceful. Lighting, being an SPS coral, of course, is moderate. And then when it comes to the water flow, I would say between moderate to high water flow. Now, the placement of this coral should be placed on an area of your rock or ledge where it will receive direct flow and light. In other words, from the bottom to middle section of your tank is where you should actually place it. Now, the way I have it here is perfect because I have it like in the middle quadrant of the tank. And not only that, it's much higher than the other corals. So when it comes to the MP10, the water flow is phenomenal because it's pretty close to it. Now, when it comes to feeding, this coral is photosynthetic. So meaning that its nutrition comes from the zooxanthellae through the light they receive. Now, additional feeding weekly for faster growth can be obtained with microplankton reef aquarium food, designed, like I say, for filter feeder invertebrates. What I use when it comes to these type of foods, of course, is Reefroids by Polylab and PhytoFeast by Reef Nutrition. Now, when it comes to the water parameters, I found out that to keep this coral, the temperature should be between 72 to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. And then the DKH should be between 8 and 12 DKH. Now the pH should be between 8.1 all the way up to 8.4. And the SG should be between 1.023 to 1.025. That's what the research says. But me and millions of other reefers actually keep their SG at 1.026. So, I mean, one parameter isn't going to cause any issues with this coral. And then the difficulty level on this coral is, I'd say, easy to moderate. Now, a final note that I thought I mentioned, if for some reason this coral tends to die because of instability, let's say, of the water, but a small section or piece remains, once your water stability is regained, the coral will tend to bounce back and grow back again as it was before. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the tank, and with one of the target feeders that I have, it's got this little red prong, like if you're going to go ahead and put like a piece of shrimp or something, or meaty food to give it to the fish. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use that as a pointer, the little red needle you're going to see, and I'm going to point to the actual growth. Okay, here we are. Now, an observation that I've made from 3 weeks to now, I know you cannot appreciate what I'm going to say now because you would have to look at it from the side, but it's creating like a little curve. It's like a cup, which is what I just talked about, like a spiraling type of behavior. Here, this little whitish that you see here is actually growth. Now, when you look around the corners and you see this white, this is actually new growth. How do I know that? Because if you look here, this little section just right here, if you look at that, you'll notice that the purplish color of this coral is actually gone out to the tip. So that's a sign that this coral is actually growing, and it's not a sign that it's residing and is dying. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, found it educational, informative. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And next to that, you're going to have a little bell. That bell is the notification bell. So if you activate that, every time I shoot a video, which is usually weekly, you'll be the first ones to be notified that Eddie's Reef Aquaria uploaded a video. Now, before I close the video, I thought I mentioned this, that I started to apply on the tank. I had used it before, but it was giving me like green algae and all that, and now I kind of got it under control. I'm starting to reuse Replenish by Brightwell Aquatics. It's an excellent product. It's got all the trace elements and minerals that can be depleted when you do let's say the protein skimmers. It will skim out a lot of minerals and trace elements, and especially when the corals start to grow and you have a lot of population of corals. As you see on my tank, I don't have that amount of corals. I'm going very slow on it, but eventually this will be packed with corals. But what I did is I followed the instructions on Replenish, and for this tank, the water volume actually is 25 gallons, not 40, as I mentioned before. You know, what the tank is, you know, in air is 40 gallons, but minus the bioload, the rocks, the corals, and sand and all that. What I'm noticing when I do water changes and I do the calculations, what I really have in water is 25. So it says for 50 gallons to use 1 capful, which is 5 mLs. But it actually would be half a capful, which would be like 2.5 mLs. Well, I'm actually using less because the bioload, it says there on the bottle, you know, that in reference to your bioload. So since I don't have that tremendous amount of corals, I'm putting half of ml, and I'm putting it twice a week. And let me tell you, this past Saturday when I did my DKH and my calcium, I noticed that my DKH, it was at 9, and the calcium was way up like 485 or 490, and it's because not only does this product have all the trace elements and minerals and all that, but it also contains calcium. So that actually brought up my calcium and my alkalinity, and let me tell you, it's doing fine. So I'm going to continue to use it for now, just twice a week, because my bioload of corals is not tremendous, and I do see the improvement because it also has manganese, and manganese is an element, a mineral, shall we call it, that you need to keep mostly a broad spectrum of corals, but especially the Aganioporos, which I'm after, because every time I buy Aganioporos, something happens and they die. So it does contain also manganese, which would be great. So ending this video, as I say on all of my videos, happy reefing. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.